Hmm. Wait. All right, come on. Hi. How are you?
Hi, no smell.
How's everything?
I'm trying to. Am I the only one on here so far?
Yeah, but there's other people online. I don't know if they, because the event disappeared. I went in and went out because the event disappeared, and then I don't know if I hope they could see it. And I
okay, that's what I had to do. I kind of was clicking around, and then I lost the event, so then I had to log out, and then I logged back in, and I thought I better not touch too much.
You saw it when you logged out and logged back in. You saw it, right? So
then it came up. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Okay. Wow, I'm so red. I can't remember your name. Is so white.
Sandy.
Sorry,
Sandy.
Sandy is so white, and SNL's yellow. We all have our colors.
I was just trying to close my blinds because the light's glaring through. So it's lovely to have the sun, but it's a bit in your face. Can you hear me okay?
Well, I'm like a lobster, so I don't know why, but I should turn my light on maybe.
Is the weather warm where you are?
Well, I don't think. Am I? Maybe it is just my face. Oh, it is just my face that's red. Okay. I thought it was my camera. That's why I was making fun, but it really is me because my shoulder's all white.
Well, we've had it's freezing cold in Melbourne at the moment. I think there's snow not far from where I am. So we have got a bit of sun, but it's so cold.
Oh, it's really it's nice here.
Oh, lovely.
Like still summery.
Right. So in New York, it's pretty much it's fall, but it's getting there,
Yeah.
Well, I think today's the last nice sunny day, and then it's cloudy and gets a little colder and rainy and stuff. So
okay, so we
in Edmonton, in Canada. Yeah. It's summer here and winter. We're in Australia. Yeah.
But so we have our Jewish high holidays coming up, and it's usually in September. But we adjust the years, like the lunar years. We adjust it with the solar year. Like so, every few years we have an extra month. So this year we had 13 months. So it's
every few years you have an extra month.
Like twice every 7 years is we add another month.
Oh, like a whole 4 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I know there's something where it's not a even for us like a even 365 days or 4 days. Oh yeah, that's why we had the leap year. That's what it is every 4 years. Yeah.
The Muslims and the Chinese, they go with the lunar calendar, but they don't adjust it. So you could be 100 years old and really only 50, or only 60.
Yeah.
But they're all different times of the year. We adjusted. I mean, it's we it says in the Bible, that Passover is in the spring, so we adjusted. They used to do it just like the Muslims do with they had witnesses, that saw the moon, and they came, and the court said it's the beginning of the month, because sometimes the month was 29 days, sometimes it was 30, but then every few years they would vote on. Before they made the calendar, they would vote every year. They would vote if that year is going to be a leap year or not. So it was, but now that they have a calendar, so it comes out like every number of years, a leap year. So it's
interesting.
But,
yeah.
So the high holiday
today.
What was that?
What?
Sorry.
Are we the only ones on today, or who else is coming?
Well, no, Elizabeth said she's coming, but I don't know if she had trouble getting on or.
It was actually quite easy to get on, I thought. I was stretching it a little bit, but it wasn't too bad.
Yeah. Yeah. When actually, thank you for the email, Nasanil, because when you put in there that it's not as complicated as it looks, that made me feel much better. Because when I'm reading, I'm like, oh my goodness. And then it's like, okay, he says it's not as complicated as it sounds, and I believe that. So
Huddle teaches music, and so he said that he didn't like this platform as far as the sound as much as Zoom. I mean, to me, Zoom was it fades out your high notes. I mean, I had problems like teaching like private students. I really had problems with it, you know. So this was excellent, you know. I mean, for me, but he said he had experience. Maybe it was a connection. Sometimes you have to give it. Sometimes listen. There's every platform has its own, you know. But
yeah. Hi, Liz.
Hi.
Yeah. How's everything? How are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
All right, excellent. So,
I'm sorry, if somebody came online, they would say, these 4 people have the worst cameras set up.
I really like look at this.
It's like, I'm glad I'm not the only one, because you go to other platforms and they're all perfectly centered and the lighting is perfect for me. I'm either all white or red or whatever. Now I look at Liz, it's like dark, but it's great.
I don't know how to fix it.
It's just sometimes it's just a little tilt, and then all of a sudden it's just, I don't understand the science behind it.
Yeah, and I'm always like, you always get this double chin view, right? And up here.
Yeah, I know. I think some people really study how they look on Zoom online. Like they kind of know what I and the other thing is, I decided to clean my house and I didn't know where to start. So I shoved everything in this room. So the rest of the house is really tidy, but all the rubbish. So I've actually angled like all my items.
This is why you get this corner every time. I carry my laptop here and twist my chair so you don't see anything else.
By the way, when I teach students, that's why, I mean, I love this because it actually picks up the students like they're in the room as far as the sound from my experience. I mean, Donald said he had a different experience, but maybe just one time or 2 times. I don't know. Sometimes you could always experience like, you know, not great connections sometimes with anything. But he also expressed to me, Donald, like he's not so to the talking about goals thing, you would rather go or less. Because I think it's people want, you know, like, it's more, you know, if whatever people want to do, if you split it up or whatever you want to do, like you want to do some singing, you know, it's not, nobody's.
Just a little feedback. I'm actually having a really hard time understanding you. I'm getting some feedback, and it's your little blurbly, which I don't usually get on Zoom, but I don't know, whatever. I don't think usually.
Yeah, it was a little bit funny, Nasanil.
Okay, but I think we caught the gist.
Yeah,
that we can do whatever we want to do. Right?
And I was sort of thinking about my goals, and I'm so ashamed that I just haven't, like Kerry said last week, I haven't really achieved any of them, and mine were really basic. Like mine was sort of trying to listen to more music to get myself enthused about singing, and I haven't even done that.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't even realize. Okay. So listen to more music to get yourself motivated. Is that? Yeah. You know what? And to some people that would be very odd, but I'm like you. I don't listen to music every day, and I don't sing every day. I can go, you know, probably even a few weeks and maybe only listen to like half a song or something here and there. So.
And do you think it makes a difference, Krista, if you listen to music, like in terms of your love of singing and your desire to sing? Do you think if you
I think you have to find what's right for you. So, for example, we'll just take my flute, or just, I love playing my flute in like an orchestra setting, a wind band, and I like playing with people, but by myself, I don't pick it up. And so now that I haven't been in a organized setting like that, I haven't touched it since before COVID, or I picked it up once or twice, but really, I went like for 5 years without touching it. And even now, like I really can't play a single song. So with singing, I find what really helped me was being in a choir. And now the thing is, for me, I will not go and listen to choirs. I find that boring. I go to the Edmonton Symphony. I almost fall asleep. So I can't listen so much to music as participate in a setting. And that's why it works for me, is because you have even Carrie, that she's in the modules and she's like kind of talking to you and singing along or whatever, as if she's in the room with me. And that's helped, because like otherwise I took singing lessons and it's like, practice, just can't get into it. And here I just turn her on and then I'm like, okay, and then kind of it doesn't take long. So
what sort of music do you like?
See, when people ask, this is what I'm always afraid of, is when somebody asks, what are your inspiration people that you listen to? For me, it's not so much people, it's like songs. So like, I mean, I do like songs from Celine Dion, I like songs from Whitney Houston, but then there's the odd song from AC/DC I like, you know? So I'm kind of, I guess, the top 40. I'm just very, I don't know if you want to call it, very average, generic, whatever seems to be a hit. I often like that.
Or whatever gels with you or clicks with you for whatever reason.
But it is an age thing too, because now that I'm older, like I'm the stuff that's now on the radio with, I don't know, Doja Cat or whatever, all these people, I don't know who they are. Like I can't get into that. Ed Sheeran's nice, but again, I'm not, he's a guy, I'm not going to sing his songs, you know, so it's, might be kind of also, if I don't know if you like the music when you were like a teenager. I find that's a big thing. It's somehow those teen years, people connect with that music. So, and even as a teenager, I didn't listen to music a lot, but I still remember those songs and connect with them somehow. The 80s, all the 80s songs. So I don't know if
because of the memories, maybe that it feels that.
Somehow, other people were singing them around you, your friends, whatever it was, Or you go down the street, or the schoolyard, people are playing.
Around, like
So I don't know. So that's just a few different things to think about, that maybe, you need to do it with someone, or maybe listen to music that you remember when you were younger, or when you grew up at home, maybe there was music playing or something. So, like I said, I don't mind playing classical music, but I'm not going to listen to it, and I'm not.
I find that really interesting. I find that interesting. That just to like playing something, but not as much like listening to it. And I guess I do relate, because I was part of a choir not long ago. It was one of those 2-hour choirs. I don't know whether you've heard of them. Like you get a group of people that have never met, and you just smash out a song. So we did Alleluia in 2 hours with like 50 people. We didn't know each other. We all kind of just worked out where we sat in the thing and done. And then we all recorded it. And it was amazing. Like, it was incredible. And I have a new respect for chorals. Is that what they're called? Because to remember a part while somebody else is singing a completely different, I don't read music. Right. That was so difficult. But so I had a ball, but I probably wouldn't listen to a choir.
No, see, same thing. Like, it's like same thing. I've sang the Hallelujah. I mean, that in choir, that was kind of our ending song for almost every concert. But I don't listen to that song. I don't listen to Leonard Cohen, and there's 100 versions out there, and I turn it off. But singing it, well, that's just something we did. So,
what about other people? What sort of music do you like? Do you find you listen to music a lot, and does it inspire?
Well, I'm a cantor, and I do improv. A lot of the cantors today don't do improv because they just read already published music by great composers, but to me, I mean, cantorial prayer music is all about improv. So then you're talking about choirs, and if I don't have, I'd love to have a choir, in which I usually end up leading myself because we don't have a actually conductor. You know, it's a small place, but for us, I mean, there's a soloist. It's the main. The choir is more like a accompaniment, like a piano, you know. But we don't have a piano, so we. I can give you. Here's an example. I don't know. Maybe I could share my screen. Just an interesting. Show you. Where's the tools? No, that's not it.
Yeah, that's actually very different than where the choir is kind of a cappella and then there's a soloist.
Yeah, so I mean, it's how do I share my screen? 1 second, I'll tell you. Files. Tools. Hold on, I'll close that. Why is that?
So, Sandy, did you say somebody suggested to you that you should be listening to more music or something?
I just find that I just thought it would inspire me to make it a priority, I guess, because I've got kids, I've got family, I work, I'm looking after my 90-year-old mum, I have a special needs sister. So my life is like chock-a-block. So for me to make singing and sitting down a priority without it being a chore, that's what I thought. Maybe if I started listening and enjoying listening to music more, that would actually prompt me to crave it. I don't know whether I'm making sense, but do you know what I mean? Like want it so much that I will push it up there to the list of things to do rather than it being down the bottom because I've got, do you know what I mean?
I think that's a good thought. Maybe I did think of it, but not as I didn't think it as well out as you did, but it was maybe in the back of my mind. But unfortunately, what I've heard the most is you have to sit down and do it. That's what I think you'll get a lot of answers. And I don't like that answer either, Sandy. That's why I have a feeling you're a little bit like me, that we want to sing, but it's not that love that, you know, where people are singing every day. And we're not craving, and yet we really like it. And when we do it, it's good. We're happy. But so it's,
I think you're right.
But it's, you know, one thing about singing is that you don't have to have your instrument with you. You have it with you all the time. You carry around that instrument with you all the time, and you know, so
that's nice.
You don't have, you know, you play the flute. How do you breathe with flute playing? Because
with a diaphragm.
Yeah. So, interesting. So on our high holidays, we have. As soon as I could, I'm gonna. How do I? I'll get to the share screen. I'll try to do that again afterwards. But I wanted, you know, we were talking about breathing like a few times. I actually did some kind of recording I put out there on the group also, but because I had a few people on when Carrie was not well, and you know, whatever. So I had some other people on, but we didn't have the group. But on our high holidays, we blow the ram's horn.
Right.
Now, most of the, you know, the cantors, like, you know, most of them are classical singers. They get paid very well. I mean, I used to get paid a lot more before COVID. After COVID, a lot of the synagogues, they did it without a cantor, like during 2020, and then they decided, well, we did it without it last year. A real professional will get somebody mediocre now. But where I got this position during COVID, and so I'm gonna do it all. So I blew the ram's horn, and in many years past, I had a really, really good paying position it's actually paid the same amount as I get paid now, but this was back in '98, so it was. But
Oh, wow.
so there was a little more money then.
Wow.
But
27 years ago, yeah. Woo! I think minimum wage has tripled.
yeah, I mean that people
More.
cantors look forward to this time of year. I mean, they get paid. They used to, some of them still do. $10, $20, $30,000 for a week's work.
What?
For a few hours work. Basically.
Are you serious?
Because these are stars. These are, and I'm not a star like famous like some of these guys are, but I really worked hard at it, and so I compose my own music, and
Wow.
I teach, the different modes of the prayer and everything, which it's a real art, the cantorial art. But I got this one position, and I saw that some of the real star cantors were being turned down, and I was wondering why. And then I found out that they required that they blow the shofar, that ram's horn, and they didn't want to do it. So I said that I blew it, that I did blow the ram's horn, even though I never blew it. But I said, you know what? I'll learn to blow it, or I'll get somebody else to help me, whatever. Anyway, so it's basically the same breathing as you do for singing. And so I noticed, like, last few years that when I was my voice came out so much stronger.
Oh.
And I started to think about it. I said, maybe I could do this every day. And so it's not always practical, to blow it every day. But so I also got something that, well, I'll show you the ram's horn. It's, this is like one of them. I have a few different styles, but you really have to. I would even like put your arms back, and so really, this is last week with the 2 weeks ago. Or no, last week she was doing something about what she called anchoring. I know that, like, anchoring was, but you still raise your chest out, like this. But the problem is you got to be careful. Like, everything is subtle, so you could end up going like this will squeeze it. So what I do is, I actually put your arms back completely like this, and if you're standing, it's even better. And then what I call like air under the armpits, like basically this is the position, and it's so receptive when you talk to people. To go like this the whole day, just like you look better. you when you talk to an audience, you sing to an audience. You're receptive. People, but besides that, the sound is so much better. Now, look, this forces you to keep that open. If you start, this will never blow. You won't get a sound out of it. But I mean, this is the same as a trumpet. And I recently got the bugle. Because the trumpets, cost the bugle, which is like $30. But
Oh,
but it's to do an instrument that's going to help your voice like unbelievable. I mean, the flute I heard is you're blowing into it from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, like you're blowing into it like it's a little bit away from your mouth, right? And you still have to have that diaphragmatic.
sorry. Are you you're cracking up? Are you asking about the flute?
Sharing a window. I don't know. Okay. the flute.
Oh, that's much better. I couldn't stand staring at my big red face. And hair in my hair.
I don't know why I was trying to share the screen and then it didn't do it. So I don't know. But anyway, so I guess so like this you actually put it's like a trumpet. You put you get the right position in your mouth. I mean, it's actually cut away to fit someone's mouth, so. But this has to be open, like just like your arms out, like, and you anything here, nothing. I mean, you have to tighten your lips. A drop. You have to tighten your lips, but lower. But nothing in your throat or your tongue or your chest. It's all coming from right at your abdomen, right at the soft spot right there. So, like, we do it like very similar to cries, like, and this is the way. I mean, the singing. I got something that's silent. It's a breathing. It's similar to the breather, but it's an off-brand, and you do it with the same technique, and you could adjust the strength and exhale, and adjust the strength on the inhale.
So now, I remember seeing that somehow and taught, but I don't remember any conversation about it. Can you just explain what it is that you're holding, you're doing? Because, like I said, my memory, it's I remember seeing it, but
they have things that they use in the hospitals also for breathing. That's a very big contraption. This is a very small thing, and they also have one that'll it'll show you the breath pressure on your cell phone if you want. But I don't use any of that. I just like this has for inhale and for exhale.
Okay.
And you make sure. See, it's very important to use the right technique. Like you make sure that your chest is open, your arms are like very, very loose here, like. And you're just feeling it, your abdomen or your diaphragm, So, I do like a few minutes out, and then a few minutes in. You're breathing in like a straw, almost like this is completely open, and so. And then you make sure that your tongue. But it's it's you have to combine the breathing thing. That's why Carrie said like she didn't bring it up until recently. She did bring up the exercises though of like expansion way before, like in the beginning. But like, even like the warm-up exercise, the physical warm-up exercise. But she did, she didn't really talk about the anchoring of this because if you do it the wrong way, I mean, look, you have to balance that with the regular vocal technique. You have to do both at the same time, I think. So, for instance, like working on the head voice, it's a very good thing because you're not thinking of the support as like muscles. So if you like, especially if you think of the head voice, that same placement, like, just woo, 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 you connect that to the chest voice. Woo! Woo! Keep that same spot, just the open, so that's my experience.
Yeah.
And
And I
look,
think what you're saying, Nell, is just the fact that you practice each day, and I think that's the trick too, is just doing a little bit, trying to do a little bit each day. It's like Chris just said, just sit down and do it.
Yeah, not that I do that, but
No,
I know
no.
that's what they say.
What about you, Liz? How do you find, do you prioritize your singing?
I try
I'm sorry?
to. I really
Oh, yeah.
enjoy singing and really, really want to get good at it. So I try to. But in terms of
Yeah.
I have to force the time. If I know I'm gonna be busy, I have to be from this time to this time, I'm gonna do this singing wise, even if it's only for 10 minutes. That way I do something. But it's not every day.
Yeah, that makes sense too, because I guess if you say I'm going to do 1 hour every single day, or it's just not going to happen. It's got to be reasonable and manageable, I suppose.
And I think that, and that's kind of Carrie's philosophy too, I believe, is just even if you just do a few minutes, 5 times a week or whatever, because, and if you look at her modules, especially in the beginning, they're 12 minutes, like a 2-minute warm up or whatever it is, 3 minutes and 12-minute module. And that's it. It's pretty amazing. You're not going to find anything shorter than that does anything.
Yeah, exactly. And even with that, I'm not, I think, who was it the other day? So Devon, she said she's only up to whatever it was, which is more than me anyway. So, and maybe perhaps that's a goal too, is actually just to start back on those, even if I start back from the start.
Yeah, I guess it's the easiest way to think of it. It's just like going to the gym. It's a muscle. And some people, work out 5 or 6 days a week, let's say 6 days, some 5 days, Monday through Friday, some 3 times a week, and then you have others that kind of whenever they can, twice a week or whatever for a little bit. But then you also have people who maybe walk at lunch for 20 minutes every day, but those that go to the gym are there for an hour, but they only go twice or 3 times a week. So I think it's just like anything. You just have to work it, see what works for you. Is it better to say, okay, here now I'm doing this for 1 hour, twice or 3 times a week, or is it better to do 10 minutes? See, with voice, I think because of the warm up, that's why I would rather sit. If I'm going to sit and warm up and do it, I like to do it for an hour or more. If I only have 20 minutes, to me, it's almost not worth the energy for me to warm up and try and make sure I'm not over singing. If that makes sense. So that's just me.
Well, look,
sorry,
I think that they've done research on this. That's better, it stays with you a lot more 10, 15 minutes a day than an hour a week, or whatever, It's consistency.
Yeah. And that probably does make sense because, you're doing it more often, smaller amounts, but more often. I do admit I like the straw in the water exercise. I actually feel like I'm doing something. It's not arduous. I don't have to think about it.
And you're right. Even just doing that, you're developing those muscles. If you do that 5 minutes a day while you're eating lunch or something, that already counts for sure, because that's a really good exercise, SOVT exercise. That's really protecting the vocal cords from injuries.
I like it because you get that immediate, afterwards you really feel the, it's easier.
It's a warm up and a workout and a cool down, actually, all at the same time. So
yeah.
So even if you can concentrate on doing that, 5 minutes or whatever, like I said, as you're eating your chocolate milk at lunch, whatever. Not that you have chocolate at lunch, but that already helps. That would count, and then on other days try and do a module or something, or human modules. So
I think that's
so
a
here,
really good idea.
just think of this also, like in Italian, they call it voce di venditore. Means the venture voice or the salesman's voice. And hot dogs, whole beer, and throwing off the voice. It's just throwing it off. And she was talking about, hey, cat. When my cats sometimes will fight in the morning, and I'm sleeping, and all of a sudden I get up to their fighting, and I'll just like, hey, what, hey, and that, and there's no strain there. It's just like an excitement. Hey, it connects with your breath. I think that I always start the morning with an exciting tone right away, and not to keep it there. Then you stop and you do what you have to do. See, warming up, if you have the time, unless you're performing, the problem is that I perform in the morning, like the services in the morning. I really have to wake up early. But if you have the time during the day, it's better to split up the singing. This is what the operatic singers do. Their regimen. I mean, when Pavarotti talked about it, they didn't warm up for an hour. They didn't sing for an hour. If you're doing exercises, sometimes you want to do it for a half hour straight or whatever. You don't have to do that every day. But but to warm up in the morning, first of all, you should never sing like that. You should never I would never do that right away. Like, warm up in the morning, just do a 10-minute warm up and then do a half hour exercise. I would never do that. First of all, get your body. I start praying like the prayers when I do it, especially even the high holidays. It starts like 9:30 in the morning. Okay, so I got to wake up really early, but I'm not singing. Let's say I wake up. Sometimes I'll wake up 6 in the morning. Okay, because it starts at 9 o'clock. But I'm not singing those 3 hours. I'm relaxing. First of all, I'm meditating, quiet. I mean, I'm an introvert, so that this is I recharge and I prepare myself by meditation, but I really, meditation is great. It's part of preparing for singing. You don't have to, especially in the morning, it's not a good idea. Your body's not ready for it. Just start with that call just for 2 minutes, and then be quiet. Go eat breakfast. Go get ready for work. And then a little bit later, you'll do the after you do the physical warm-ups and you relax a little bit, your body automatically warms up without doing anything. You do those physical warm-ups, and then you do a little bit more. Then you start with the head voice, with the trills. Where does Carrie? I've studied by many teachers. Where does she? And I followed her for many years. Where does she differentiate herself from other teachers? I'll tell you. We always, in the Hebrew, we call it Mikala Lakava. You start from the easy and you go to the more advanced. So like you start with your regular talking voice. That's okay. But she warms up works the head voice first in an easy way. It's still with the easy, but not in your talking voice way. You should start with that calling, maybe I would say, but still, like she does those head voice exercises first, and that's something that it's different than most teachers do, and it's a new way. I'm telling you, from all the years that I've studied singing, this was very interesting to me because I really had a problem with my head voice, and because I have a very chesty voice, and this was a very interesting idea to me, and it worked. And I give it over to students I teach also, so I give it over to the students the same way. I do it, so especially now when you talk about support, because you can start getting too heavy with the support, and like too muscular. But if you're thinking of a head voice, you're not thinking, whoa, woo, woo, woohoo, woohoo. I always tell people like you're cheering, woohoo. So, but it's so I think that's where she really differentiates herself. I mean, for me, it really was something because I now talking about what you're saying about not singing every day. For me, if I don't sing for a while, all of a sudden that chest voice becomes too heavy again. And I have to go back to the head voice. And sometimes you have to go back and forth. You want to build a chest voice, and it's too heavy. And you want to, it's back and forth. It's like a pendulum because everything we're singing is subtle. So, when we talk about head voice, we don't want too much. Too much of anything in singing is no good. It's like that's what the mixed voice is all about. So I think that if things are starting to go for you, like if you start feeling too heavy, start going back to the head voice. If it's not light enough, start going back to the chest voice. It's like, and by the way, talking during the day, because we all use our voice during the day. That's another problem. If you don't warm up in the morning, you're hurting your voice by just speaking. And if you're a teacher, you're teaching students, you're yelling, it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt your singing. What I do, and I learned this from great singers, is even the ones that had great voices, even like a baritone, which is a very chesty voice, like Robert Merrill. I would talk to him during the day. I met him a few times. If I would talk to him, you wouldn't hear his voice. He would go like this, how are you? How's everything? It's very airy, very breathy. He would save his voice. And this is a good way to talk during the day. The more you can, with extra breath, not that'll kill your voice, but don't hold back your voice, but like a sigh. Okay. Talk like this during the day, and you're going to save your voice, and it's actually going to build up your voice. When you actually start singing, it's going to be there. You want to feel that sigh, that breath, so that's, so I say like 10 minutes in the shower is great because you have that steam and everything. So
and I like singing in the shower. I feel like it's cheating a little bit though. It always sounds so because of the acoustics. It's sort of like, it always sounds better in the shower, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we call it a shower tone, which it's a little bit false, because you're hearing yourself in a big voice. But practice the exercises, especially like even the whistle tones, the head tones. They could be really good in the shower. But just like not feeling this, you don't want to feel that subglottal pressure. You want to stay away from that, even when you get into the chest voice. So that's why you start with like no subglottal pressure. It's a little bit close. You don't want to breathe. You want to, like she said, don't overbreathe. And I had to work a lot on that. Of not overbreathing. So basically, I let out most of my breath before I start singing sometimes, because I don't want to have too much pressure.
Yeah.
So, anyone want to?
I was just thinking, Liz, were you at the last session that we had on goals? I think Devon ran it. Were you at that? Do you feel like you've met some of your goals?
Not really. My goal was to like get better at like pitch with this app that I found. But
Oh, the pitch app.
yeah, my pitch app.
I remember.
Gotten to use it too much because I've been focusing on like the warm ups and the exercises, learning a song for open mic, and then I got sick. So,
Oh, no.
so
Yep.
You say like you went. I didn't catch the goal.
oh, it's to get back.
So Liz has an app. Yeah.
I have an app that like plays a pitch for you, and then you like sing it back, and it tells you if you're right or not.
Okay.
Is it in sine wave form?
Sine wave?
Yeah. So sine wave is almost seems, I don't know, like a tone on the keyboard or something, but it's very very so it's as close to like a vocal sound, and it seems to be a little easier to match to it because it is so close to a human voice. So, but anyways, I'm sure your app is fine then. But I know I've heard
a piano sound, like if you were to hit a key on the piano.
Oh, okay.
If you like
yeah.
heard like the music, you'd be able to sing it.
Okay.
You could also do it on a piano.
I don't have a piano.
Oh, you don't.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, if you want to have like a cheap piano, I get this. You can get it online. It's a roll up.
Oh yeah.
Very light.
Do they work?
So like you could. It's like I have a full piano. I don't have room for a regular piano, but whatever. I'm not the greatest. That's actually my goal, is to learn more music. To be, both sight reading and playing, especially with students, and learning, the piano. And I'm also learning the guitar. But that's. You're talking about practice. I mean, I think if you make a set time every day is good. You're talking about like the thinking of the tone. It's very important. Like when you're singing, I don't know if you have the tone in your head. There's a book called, I didn't even read the book, but just the title, is amazing. Is this amazing idea, just the title. It's called The Voice of the Mind. And you think of that tone, and that's how you produce the sound, because your sound comes out when you think of the tone. So you're not trying to do anything here. And sometimes I've seen people that are they sing so out. I had a student once she sang so off pitch. It was like I thought she's not musical. Well, I from experience, I know that a lot of it's technical. So she was an amazing composer. She played the piano. She's very musical, and nothing to do with her ear. Most of the cases, it has nothing to do with your ear. People that have tonality problems in singing, and you just got to hear that pitch and let it come out. If your throat is open, and that sounds, it's also one of these expressions. Open throat is very confusing because some people open their throat like this, and it really closes their throat. But it's that not over breathing, just everything relaxed. And thinking of that tone and letting it happen. In fact, when you're doing the SOVT exercises, like the trill, don't try to make the higher tones any louder than the lower tones. Let it keep it one soft volume, and just think the tone in your mind. Let it come. A lot of air. Oh yeah, like you're doing with the closed mouth, like M, right? Yeah. So I mean, just think that tone. Yeah. You know.
When you do it, sorry, Liz. When you do it, do you feel like you're sharp or flat? Like, do you feel like, because it's obviously a reason you felt the need to? Because I've heard you sing and I never hear you sound off pitch.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. A lot of practice. It depends. Sometimes, or most of the time, I'm too sharp. But sometimes I'm
I don't hear that. I don't hear that when I hear you sing. I don't hear that.
Is that what the app is telling you? Is that what the app is telling you?
That's the app, yeah. But also, I meet with Carrie one-on-one once a month, and whenever we run through like the exercises together, I'm like too sharp most of the time.
Well,
yeah.
You know, there's a guy.
I think a little bit. I think that's, if I'm going to go either way, I think my tendency is to go a little bit sharp. But isn't that like a forgiving? You know what I mean? Like somebody said, not everyone is just spot on. Like there's still a little bit of leeway. You know what I mean?
It is very common, especially for women, when we sing high. If anything, we tend to go sharp.
Okay, yeah.
Really? Yeah, because you're trying. But here's the problem. That's why I wouldn't. There's a guy. He's a voice teacher, a famous voice teacher on YouTube. Whatever. But he gives he has all these courses that he sells. And I don't agree with everything he says, but he's a great businessman. But his idea was, we don't do scales here. And it's an interesting idea, because like think of those the trills. Think of a siren. So you don't hear, like, you just let it go, not even thinking of the tone, because that's when you're working on your voice. Now, when you're getting to the song, if you think that tone and just let it, Pavarotti said, and it's a very interesting idea. He said in singing, there's no up or down like music. It's straight. They talk about legato, means a straight line, a line. He says, in singing, always think straight, one line. Don't think up and down. And then another teacher told me, who really saved my voice. There's a guy, David Montefiore. You should check him out on YouTube. A golden voice. And he told me, he really saved my voice, because I ran into a depression. I was in a slump. I couldn't sing, and it was so part of my life. It was like I was depressed, and he really saved me. He's like, he took the time. I mean, I paid him, of course, but he used to tell me, high notes are the same as low notes, except they're higher. Yeah, it's the same. It really is. Don't even think of, of course you're going to go higher volume when you want to get those exciting notes, but don't think of that when you're practicing. Sometimes think of the same volume. Think of going straight. It's like singing straight. You're thinking of those notes in your head. When you hit those notes in your head, let your mind create those notes. Listen to it in your head and let it come out. That's the way you're going to hit the note. And for me, as a cantor, I'm not singing with music, and I do improv. So, like, Now, if you're talking about a wind instrument or you're talking about violin, you're not limited to the notes of the piano. So sometimes I'll do something different, will sound interesting to someone's ear, especially like in the synagogue. If people are talking and not paying attention, I'll start doing something like really crazy a little bit. And it's expressive. I'm doing it on purpose. And it's like when you're off tune on purpose, it's not off tune, because there's no such thing as really, unless it's done by mistake. If you're really thinking about going up like a little sharp or a little bit flat, it can create a great effect. Like, for instance, here's a part of the prayer, like, don't send us away from you. So, al tashlichenu milfanecha, don't send, that's the Hebrew, don't send us away from you. So I'll go, first I'll start, let's say, on the tone. Now we're hearing some feedback again. And then, so I'm thinking of the choir in the background. They're going, but even if there's no choir. Well, I'm sorry?
I have to go.
Okay.
I
So
have to go as well.
It's basically, it's like it can create a very if you listen to Middle Eastern Arabic music, it's similar. It's like they'll go flat and it sounds so moving.
Well, I think they have a different scale than the American scale. Like, so we have our 12 notes or whatever it is, but other countries actually sing in between, and they know how to pitch those. And so that's why in like Middle Eastern music and stuff, they have more notes than we do.
I had no idea of that.
Yeah, and that's why to us it sounds very strange. Like, to me, I don't like that, because I only know these pitches, C, E, F, G, right, kind of thing.
Yeah, I've often
And
thought
they
that too.
go in between, and if they're really good, they can actually hit it perfectly. Yeah. It's like thing. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
I've learned something.
Well, I do that. I do that a lot. I mean, the truth is, even the Western Jewish service is a little different than the Mideastern, but they got a lot from it. So, we have the Phrygian, it's the Jewish Phrygian scale, which is, it's a major, but it's based on the major, but it's like,
it starts on a different.
It's minor Phrygian, which they use in guitar, which is a little different.
Sandy, did you say you had to go too?
Yeah, I do have to go.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but look, thank you, Nafna, for putting me on this morning.
With everything, and good luck with everything, and just keep singing.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Lovely to talk to you both, and thank you for such good advice, Krista. Yes, just do it. It's a really good.
But then there's the other thing where I learned too that I need to do it when I feel like it, and then that works for me too. It's so much easier.
You've got to love it. It can't be a chore.
Yeah. So
Very gradually. Yeah. Do it gradually throughout the day. Just like in the beginning, just do it just with your, but get that head voice going and light voice, and then a little bit, and if you have 5 minutes during the day, do something,
Yeah.
do it throughout
That's a
the day.
nice
It's much more
first lot of time to do the 5 minutes. Yeah. All right. Look,
See
lovely.
you.
Okay.
Bye, Sandy.
Bye.
Okay. All right, everyone have a good day.
Yeah.
By the way, the recording will be on the thing about tomorrow. If you want to go onto the site, you'll see it on tomorrow. But I'm gonna put it out on our site also.
Oh, both. So I'm
Automatically.
this app and the other app. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, good.
So,
Good. Yeah,
okay.
now, Snow, I have to say, I personally did not find the sound was any better. In fact, I would,
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
I had a lot of problems, so, but
But sometimes the see when I sing high, the Zoom cuts it out.
yeah.
How is
I
the
guess
I'm
it depends.
looking over to the recording? How is the high like did it cut it out or?
No, I think it kept it, but it's just when you were talking, it counted some words and some stuff like that. So maybe for singing it's better, not necessarily for talking. Yeah,
It's really singing and music.
Yeah.
It's like
that
and
makes
also
sense too.
when we're trying to talk at the same time, sometimes it'll lower one's voice because it's so that's
Good, thanks, National, and for introducing me to this Muzi.studio thing.
By the way, you can go on the piano even when you're not on, and when you're doing it by yourself, you could actually compose music with the piano.
Oh wow!
So
okay, interesting. And I know it looks really good for like handing lesson workout, like for a teacher and stuff. So yeah, it's a very interesting site, that's for sure. And I've never heard of it. So good.
So, like if I start with the C.
And what do you press to get it to go?
Yeah, so the middle line.
Oh, you just okay.
Yeah, the middle line are the white keys.
Yeah.
And the black keys are the top line.
I didn't know, like I have a touch screen, so I can just touch it on my screen and it goes. That's what I was wondering.
I'm saying you have a keyboard.
Yeah.
A, S, D, F, G are the white keys, and then the Q, but the W was like in the middle of the A and S will be black.
Oh, interesting. Okay, cool.
So, but you could also attach a MIDI piano also.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
All right, Snow. Well, that was very interesting. So, and learning more about what you do. It's a whole different world, right? Where basically.
But I say take it easy with the warm-ups. Like don't force it, especially at the beginning of the day. You're going to kill your voice. Like just very and also like look, I think of a high place. Oh, good morning. So that's that.
Good.
Okay, have a good
night. See you, Snow.
Where are you?
I'm in Edmonton, in Canada. Edmonton, Alberta.
Same time.
So, no, 2 hours before because I'm in Alberta. So it's 6:30 here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Still have the whole evening ahead of me.
Okay.
Wait, I don't know how to sign out.
Yeah.